the world's most painful stinging insect on my hand. It is just extraordinary that an animal of this size has a sting that's powerful enough to incapacitate an animal the size of me.
In 2016, BBC's Planet Earth 2 captured army ant raids using new camera technology that revealed coordination scientists had never fully understood. The footage showed 20 million ants moving as a single organism, dismantling a wasp nest in under 2 hours. What cameras have documented about ants in the past 10 years...
Obviously, I'm an example of someone who, up until this point, has not developed any allergy whatsoever to insect venom.
...has rewritten the rules of what these insects are truly capable of.
In the genus Eceton, these ants are known for hunting in giant swarms of millions.
Here are 20 species whose behavior, caught on film, proved they're far deadlier than anyone believed. Number 20. African driver ant. Few creatures inspire more fear than the African driver ant, also called the safari ant. Found across the forests and savannas of Central and East Africa, these nomadic hunters move in colossal swarms numbering into the millions. Unlike most ants, they never build permanent nests. Their colonies travel constantly, consuming everything in their path. Their strength lies not in venom, but in coordination and overwhelming force. Insects, reptiles, and even small mammals are dismantled within seconds by razor-sharp mandibles. Driver ant colonies, Doralus, can contain 20 million workers. Their soldier mandibles lock with such force that traditional surgeons in East Africa have used them as natural sutures. The jaws remain closed even after the ant's body is removed. The larger soldier ants, with their massive jaws, can clamp down so hard they remain attached even after death. Villagers tell of homes stripped bare and livestock forced to flee as the black tide advances. Yet driver ants also play a critical ecological role. Their raids flush hidden prey toward larger predators and return nutrients to the soil. Terrifying and relentless, they are both destroyers and cleaners of the land, a living storm that devours and renews in equal measure. But if the driver ant proves that millions can bring anything down through sheer numbers, there's an ant in the rainforests of South America that needs no backup whatsoever. A single sting from this creature can drop a grown man to his knees.
What they do is they make a nest out of their own dang bodies. How crazy is that?
Number 19. Bullet ant. One sting from this ant delivers pain so intense that victims describe it as being shot, and the agony doesn't fade for hours. The bullet ant, found deep in the rainforests of Central and South America, is often called the world's most painful insect.
Is going to have me absolutely crying on the floor. I mean, that has to be one of the absolute miracles of Mother Nature.
And that reputation is well earned. Reaching nearly an inch in length, it dwarfs most other ants, and its sting is the stuff of legend. Entomologist Justin Schmidt, who created the famous Sting Pain Index after personally experiencing hundreds of insect stings, ranked the bullet ant at the very top. He described the sensation as pure, intense, brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel. The burning pain can last for hours, leaving victims weak, disoriented, and wishing they'd never disturbed the forest floor.
Being stung by the insect that supposedly has the most painful sting in the insect kingdom.
For the Satere-Mal people of Brazil, this ant holds deep cultural significance. In their warrior initiation ritual, young men place their hands into woven gloves filled with live bullet ants, enduring dozens of stings simultaneously to demonstrate courage and endurance. It's a test that separates boys from men, and the screams that follow tell you everything you need to know about what that sting feels like. Number 18. Trapjaw ant. These ants strike faster than you can blink, literally, with jaws that snap shut in just 0.13 milliseconds. That's the fastest predatory strike in the animal kingdom. University of California, Berkeley researchers used high-speed cameras filming at 50,000 frames per second to capture this movement, which reaches speeds of 145 miles per hour. When those jaws snap shut, prey has no chance for escape. They're crushed instantly, their bodies giving way under pressure that would make a bear trap jealous. But the trapjaw ant's abilities don't stop at hunting. When threatened by larger predators, These remarkable insects can actually use their jaws as spring-loaded catapults, launching themselves into the air to evade danger. It's a defensive move that combines physics and biology in ways that seem almost impossible for something so small. Beyond their mechanical marvels, trapjaw ants deliver a venomous sting that causes sharp, searing pain and can incapacitate small animals on contact. Found throughout the tropical forests of the Americas, they've combined aggression, agility, and venom to dominate their environment in ways that most ants can only dream of. Speed alone can be devastating, but when you add venom that rivals a snake's potency, the danger multiplies exponentially. Number 17. Maricopa harvester ant. Drop for drop, this desert ant carries venom more toxic than a rattlesnake's, and most people have no idea until it's too late. The Maricopa harvester ant, found across the arid landscapes of the American Southwest, looks harmless enough as it gathers seeds and grains under the burning sun. This small reddish ant seems like just another desert dweller going about its business. But that assumption has sent more than a few people to the hospital. Scientists have confirmed that pound for pound, the venom of the harvester ant is more lethal than that of a western diamondback rattlesnake. A single sting delivers excruciating pain that radiates through your entire body, and multiple stings can paralyze or kill small animals outright. For humans, the real danger lies in severe allergic reactions and the cumulative effect of repeated stings, especially when entire colonies swarm to defend their nests. What makes these ants even more unnerving is their willingness to fight to the death. Colonies containing thousands of workers will defend their mound with coordinated fury, each ant capable of stinging multiple times if provoked. The irony is that most of the time, harvester ants are peaceful foragers, but cross that invisible line around their nest, and you'll discover why they've earned their fearsome reputation.
Super unusual. And then it has these really long antennae, almost making it look like it has an extra set of legs.
Number 16. Weaver ant. High in the treetops, these ants build fortresses by stitching leaves together with silk, and anyone who gets too close learns why they're called the canopy's most aggressive defenders. The weaver ant, found throughout Asia and Australia, has mastered the art of aerial architecture. Unlike species that burrow underground, these remarkable insects construct massive colonies. Weaver ants. Ecophylla colonies can contain up to 500,000 workers spread across multiple trees, using larvae as living silk-producing tools, one of the few documented examples of tool use in insects. The result is a sprawling fortress high in the canopy, and disturbing it is a mistake you'll only make once. Weaver ants don't rely on stingers like their ground-dwelling cousins. Instead, they sink their powerful jaws into flesh and then spray acid directly into the wound, creating a burning pain that lingers long after the initial bite. What makes them truly terrifying is their unity. Once a single ant attacks, dozens follow within seconds, swarming with coordination that would impress any military strategist.
These kind of sneak up on you, but then they also have this, what I call, an anesthetic pain.
Farmers throughout Southeast Asia have a complicated relationship with these insects. On one hand, weaver ants defend crops from destructive pests, acting as natural pest control. On the other hand, their aggression makes them a constant hazard, turning simple harvests into dangerous operations. Number 15. Saharan silver ant. When desert temperatures soar high enough to fry an egg on the sand, this ant races across the burning ground hunting for weakened prey that couldn't survive the heat. The Saharan silver ant lives in one of the most hostile environments on Earth, where midday temperatures regularly exceed levels that would kill most animals within minutes. But these remarkable insects are active precisely when others retreat. Covered in reflective hairs that give them a distinctive silvery sheen, these ants withstand ground temperatures exceeding 60 degrees Celsius and are among the fastest ants on Earth relative to body size. Their reflective hairs deflect up to 90% of near-infrared radiation, while their remarkable speed allows them to move quickly across scorching sand in search of food. Though often scavengers feeding on insects that succumb to the heat, Saharan silver ants don't rely on leftovers alone. Armed with sharp mandibles, they actively attack weakened insects. It's opportunistic hunting at its finest. By striking fast and retreating underground before the heat becomes unbearable even for them, They've developed a perfect balance of survival and predation. Number 14. Dracula ant. This ant has the fastest animal movement ever recorded, and it got its name from drinking the blood of its own young. The Dracula ant, native to the remote forests of Madagascar, is evolution's masterpiece. Scientists studying these creatures discovered something astonishing. Their jaw-snapping strike is the fastest known animal movement on the planet, closing thousands of times quicker than a human can blink. When those jaws snap shut, prey doesn't just get caught, it gets immobilized almost instantly. The ant becomes a living weapon, hidden in the leaf litter, waiting to strike with speed that defies comprehension. But speed isn't what earned them their vampiric name. That honor comes from something far darker. Instead of killing their larvae, Dracula ants pierce them to drink their hemolymph, essentially insect blood. It's a brutal feeding strategy that sustains the colony during harsh times when food is scarce. The larvae survive this vampirism, continuing to develop while providing nutrition to the adults. But vampirism isn't the strangest behavior in the ant world. Some species have weaponized their own bodies into living armor. Number 13. Polyrhachis ant. Covered in sharp spines like a medieval warrior's armor, these ants look like they crawled straight out of science fiction, and their sting backs up their terrifying appearance. Polyrhachis sokolova, found in Australian mangrove forests, can survive underwater for up to 24 hours by trapping air bubbles in their spines. They hunt small crustaceans in flooded nests, a rare example of aquatic ant predation. Its body is covered in sharp spines that jut out at aggressive angles, creating natural armor against predators that would normally make quick meals of smaller insects. These defensive spines, combined with a venomous sting, make Polyrhachis dives a formidable opponent in any confrontation. Their sting delivers sharp, burning pain that can incapacitate small animals and send larger threats running. But it isn't just their individual weaponry that earns them a fearsome reputation. These ants are fiercely territorial, and when their space is invaded, colonies respond with aggressive, coordinated defenses that overwhelm intruders through sheer tactical precision. They swarm threats with a level of organization that turns individual soldiers into an unstoppable army. Farmers often view them as pests, but in their natural ecosystems, Polyrhachis ants reign as spiny enforcers that few creatures dare to challenge. Number 12. Yellow crazy ant. On Christmas Island, this golden invader didn't just kill wildlife, it wiped out millions of crabs and collapsed an entire ecosystem, turning paradise into a wasteland. The yellow crazy ant invasion of Christmas Island stands as one of the most dramatic ecological disasters ever caused by an insect. Accidentally introduced to this remote paradise, these golden-colored ants multiplied into sprawling supercolonies that eventually blanketed huge portions of the island. Their name comes from the frantic zigzagging movements they make when agitated, but their true power lies in teamwork and chemical warfare. When yellow crazy ants attack, they spray formic acid while swarming in waves so overwhelming that resistance becomes impossible. The impact on Christmas Island was catastrophic and heartbreaking. Ground-nesting birds lost entire generations of chicks, smothered and consumed inside their nests before they could even hatch. But the most shocking victims were the island's famous red land crabs. These crabs, millions strong and vital to the ecosystem's health, were slaughtered en masse during ant assaults. With the crabs gone, the island's delicate balance collapsed. Weeds and invasive plants spread unchecked across areas that were once pristine forests. Yellow crazy ants proved that colonies can destroy islands. But another species shows how a single nest can terrorize entire continents. Number 11. Tawny crazy ant, Nylanderia fulva. These golden brown ants have invaded the southern United States with a bizarre trait. They're attracted to electrical equipment. When electrocuted, dying ants release alarm pheromones that attract more ants, creating cascading short circuits. In Houston, they've caused millions in damage to air conditioning units, computer systems, and industrial equipment. Unlike most ants, they don't respond to conventional insecticides, forming massive supercolonies with multiple queens. They're called crazy ants for their erratic, rapid movements that make them nearly impossible for prey to predict or escape. In large numbers, they can kill small livestock like chickens by asphyxiation, and attack larger animals like cattle around the eyes and hooves. They cause harm by protecting sap-sucking insects, which can damage crops and plants. Tawny crazy ants displace native and other non-native ant species, including the red imported fire ant, by overwhelming them with sheer numbers. This can disrupt the local ecosystem and food web, affecting ground-nesting birds and other small animals. Tawny crazy ants may terrorize the surface, but beneath the ground there's an ant that operates like a silent assassin. Number 10. Thief ant. At just 1 millimeter long, this pale invader sneaks into rival nests and devours eggs, larvae, and pupae, wiping out entire colonies before anyone realizes they're under attack. The thief ant may be one of the smallest ants in existence, barely visible to the naked eye, but its impact on other ant species is absolutely devastating. These pale, tiny invaders have evolved a strategy that's as brilliant as it is brutal. They specialize in infiltrating the nests of much larger ant species, where they raid food stores while simultaneously stealing and devouring the next generation. They can significantly weaken rival colonies by systematically stealing eggs and larvae over months. Living in massive underground networks, thief ant colonies spread through hidden tunnels that connect directly to the nests they're plundering. It's strategic warfare conducted in complete darkness. While fire ants and army ants rely on venom and overwhelming force, thief ants win through stealth and patience. They weaken enemy colonies silently, systematically dismantling them one stolen egg at a time. In human environments, they add another dangerous dimension by contaminating food supplies, their tiny size allowing them to infiltrate packaging and storage areas that larger ants can't access. Number 9. Green tree ant.
I want to introduce you to the little characters that have built this amazing-looking nest.
The African green tree ant, Ecophylla longinoda, builds nests like its Asian cousin, the weaver ant, but is even more aggressive in defense. Their nests look like peaceful green bundles in the branches, but disturb them and you'll unleash a coordinated storm of attackers that bite through tender flesh. High in the canopies of Africa's forests, the green tree ant rules with an iron fist. Their colonies stretch across multiple trees, with workers linking leaves together using silk produced by their larvae to create massive interconnected nests. From a distance, these nests appear as harmless green clusters tucked among the branches, but that peaceful appearance is dangerously deceptive. Disturb a green tree ant nest and you'll instantly understand why farmers and forest workers throughout Africa have learned to give them a wide berth. These ants swarm in perfect unison, their coordination rivaling any military force. They clamp onto exposed skin with powerful jaws that deliver burning bites capable of breaking through tender flesh.
Really strong citrus acid that you can get out of their bum. I'll see if I can grab one.
Unlike many species, green tree ants don't use venom stingers. They don't need to. Their sheer biting force and overwhelming numbers do all the damage necessary. What makes them especially feared is their strategic approach to defense. Number 8. Jackjumper ant. This Australian ant has caused multiple human deaths, a chilling rarity among ants, and it leaps aggressively at anyone who gets too close. Australia is infamous for its dangerous wildlife, but the jackjumper ant stands out as genuinely one of the deadliest insects on the continent. Found mainly in Tasmania and southeastern Australia, this species delivers a sting so venomous that it has directly caused multiple human fatalities. That's an exceptionally rare distinction in the ant world, where deaths are usually attributed to allergic reactions rather than the venom itself. The jackjumper's venom is particularly infamous for triggering severe allergic reactions and life-threatening anaphylactic shock, making it far more dangerous than its relatively small size would ever suggest. What makes encounters with jackjumpers even more terrifying is their aggressive behavior. True to their name, these ants leap at perceived threats, combining lightning-fast jumping movements with crushing jaws and that venomous sting. It's a triple threat that catches victims completely off guard. The danger posed by jackjumpers is taken so seriously that Australia has developed specialized immunotherapy programs specifically to help people in bushland areas who are at risk of repeated exposure. Leaping attacks are terrifying, but there's something even more unnerving about ants that move so erratically that prey can't predict their next strike. Number 7. Black crazy ant. These ants move in frantic zigzags that look like living static, and their unpredictable raids make it nearly impossible for prey to escape. The black crazy ant gets its memorable name from behavior that looks almost manic. Native to tropical regions but now spread worldwide through human commerce, these ants thrive on chaos and confusion. They swarm in huge numbers, attacking small insects, larvae, and weakened arthropods with dizzying speed that overwhelms any defensive response. The unpredictable nature of their movements makes their raids almost impossible for prey to counter or escape. There's no pattern to predict, no strategy to defend against. But the danger of black crazy ants extends far beyond their hunting grounds in nature. Once they enter human spaces like homes, hospitals, or food storage facilities, they become serious contamination threats. Black crazy ants spread harmful bacteria, including E. coli and salmonella, as they swarm across surfaces, countertops, and food supplies. Making matters worse, their colonies don't rely on a single central nest. Instead, they fragment into countless satellite colonies, creating a distributed network that makes them frustratingly resilient and nearly impossible to eliminate once they're established in an area. Number 6. Ghost ant. You'd never expect one of the deadliest ants to be nearly invisible, yet this pale, see-through predator moves unnoticed through homes and hospitals, carrying deadly pathogens. The ghost ant is nature's proof that you don't need to be seen to be dangerous.
These ants are probably one of the most devastating ant invader species in the entire world.
With pale, nearly transparent bodies that make them blend seamlessly into their surroundings, these tiny predators move completely unnoticed through soil, plants, and human environments. Though only a few millimeters in length, ghost ants are surprisingly skilled hunters of small insects and soft-bodied prey. They overwhelm victims with sheer numbers before systematically stripping them apart. But their hunting prowess in nature is only part of what makes them dangerous. The real threat emerges when ghost ants infiltrate human spaces. In homes, restaurants, and especially hospitals, they contaminate food and water supplies while carrying harmful pathogens, including salmonella and staphylococcus bacteria. Their near invisibility means infestations often go unnoticed until they've become severe problems. Ghost ant colonies split into countless satellite nests, creating distributed networks that spread through buildings like invisible plagues. Number 5. Argentine ant. These ants have formed the largest cooperative unit of living creatures ever discovered, a super colony stretching thousands of miles with trillions of workers that treat each other as family.
Here in the Tallahassee area, the mature size is probably 250,000 workers.
The Argentine ant represents one of the most successful invasions in recorded history, and their strategy is unlike anything else in nature. Originally from South America, these ants have spread across every continent except Antarctica, and wherever they establish themselves, they don't just compete with native species, they systematically eliminate them. While most ant species fight territorial wars with neighboring colonies of their own kind, Argentine ants from the same genetic lineage recognize each other as nestmates even across vast distances. In California, a single supercolony stretches for over 560 miles along the coast. In Europe, one supercolony spans 3,700 miles from Italy to Spain. In Japan, another massive network has been discovered, and genetic testing has confirmed that ants from these different continents recognize each other as part of the same family, creating what scientists call a global megacolony. They disrupt ecosystems by protecting honeydew-producing pests and displacing native insects that many birds and lizards depend on for food. Number 4. Pharaoh ant. This tiny golden ant has become a plague in hospitals worldwide, spreading antibiotic-resistant bacteria and diseases while being nearly impossible to eliminate. The Pharaoh ant may be one of the smallest ant species you'll encounter, but it's become one of the most dangerous pests in modern healthcare facilities. These tiny golden-brown ants thrive in the warm, food-rich environments where they create serious health hazards by contaminating sterile equipment, open wounds, and IV lines. What makes them genuinely terrifying in medical settings is their ability to spread antibiotic-resistant bacteria, including MRSA and various disease pathogens between patients. They're essentially mobile vectors for hospital-acquired infections. Pharaoh ant colonies fragment readily, with new queens and workers splitting off to form satellite colonies throughout buildings. This means that when you try to eliminate them with traditional pesticides, the colonies simply scatter and multiply, making the infestation worse rather than better. A single colony that starts in one hospital room can spread throughout an entire medical facility within months, creating interconnected networks that are nearly impossible to eradicate. Their small size allows them to access spaces that other ants can't reach, including sealed food containers and sterile supply cabinets. Number 3. Red imported fire ant. They look like nothing more than specks of red dust, harmless under the sun, but disturb their mound and the ground comes alive, a living storm of jaws and venom that burns like fire and kills without mercy. These aren't ordinary ants. They're the red imported fire ants, relentless invaders that turn the earth itself into a battlefield and anything that steps on it into a target. Each ant bites down and injects venom multiple times. In the United States alone, approximately 80 to 100 people die annually from severe allergic reactions to fire ant stings.
Is looking for a place to die because the fly or the maggot would want the ant to do.
The red imported fire ant is distinct from other fire ant species, and it's earned its place as one of the most medically significant insects on the planet. Unlike ants that sting once and retreat, red imported fire ants have perfected a brutal technique. They bite down with their powerful jaws to anchor themselves, then inject venom repeatedly through their stingers. The burning pain that follows is exactly why they're named after fire, but the real danger lies in their venom's potential to trigger fatal anaphylactic shock. In the United States alone, they cause over $6 billion in annual damage through medical treatments, livestock deaths, and agricultural losses. Originally native to South America, red imported fire ants have now established populations across the southern United States, Australia, Taiwan, and parts of Asia, bringing destruction wherever they spread. They systematically wipe out native insects, attack reptiles and small mammals, and create colonies that can reach hundreds of thousands of workers. Their distinctive reddish-brown color and aggressive behavior when defending their soil mounds make them instantly recognizable to anyone who's had the misfortune of disturbing a nest. The mounds themselves damage agricultural equipment, ruin crops, and turn recreational areas into dangerous zones where a single wrong step can result in hundreds of painful stings within seconds. Number 2. East African army ant. Deep in the villages of East Africa, there are documented cases of these ants attacking immobilized humans, and their soldier mandibles are so strong that traditional surgeons use them as living sutures to close wounds. The siafu, or East African army ant of the genus Doralus, conducts raids with 20+ million workers. The traditional use of soldier ant mandibles as living sutures has been documented in ethnographic studies across East Africa, with jaws remaining locked for days after the body is removed. What makes siafu particularly terrifying is their documented attacks on humans who cannot escape.
Although the bites are painful against people, they are purely defensive, but it's simply a warning.
There are verified accounts of these ants killing immobilized individuals, including the elderly, infants, and people who were intoxicated or unconscious. The ants enter through any opening they can find, and once inside the body, they attack soft tissues with their powerful hooked mandibles. Their soldiers possess jaws so strong and their bites so tenacious that even when their bodies are removed, the heads remain locked in place. Despite their danger to humans, siafu play crucial roles in their ecosystems, clearing out pest insects from homes and agricultural areas during their raids, which is why many villagers tolerate their presence despite the risks. Number 1. Giant Amazonian ant. In the heart of the Amazon, there's an ant so large and fearsome that even seasoned hunters keep their distance. Locals call it the bullet ant's giant cousin, a creature whose sting burns like fire and throbs like a gunshot. One encounter can leave grown men writhing for hours, but what truly sets it apart isn't just the pain. It's that this giant empire has no queen to command it. The giant Amazonian ant, known scientifically as Dinoponera, holds the distinction of being the largest ant species on Earth, with workers reaching up to 1.2 inches in length. Found throughout the rainforests of South America, these massive ants are solitary hunters that rely on size, strength, and a devastatingly painful sting to subdue prey and defend their territories. What makes their sting particularly noteworthy is the intensity and duration of pain it causes.
Savage my finger, like the leafcutter ants. that I've experienced in Costa Rica.
Indigenous peoples who've experienced Dinopanera stings describe the pain as comparable to being shot, and the throbbing agony can persist for up to 48 hours after a single sting. The venom contains peptides that affect nerve cells directly, creating waves of pain that radiate throughout the affected limb. Unlike most ant species that have a dedicated queen for reproduction, Dinopanera colonies operate under a different system entirely. They have a ranked hierarchy of workers, and typically only the alpha female reproduces while other workers suppress their own reproduction through a combination of pheromones and physical aggression. If the alpha is removed or dies, fierce battles break out among the remaining workers to establish the new reproductive individual. This unusual social structure, combined with their massive size and painful sting, makes Dinopanera one of the most fascinating and formidable ant species in existence. They hunt alone or in small groups, taking down large insects, small vertebrates, and anything else they can overpower. So, after witnessing these tiny tyrants and their terrifying reigns, which of these ant species left you the most astonished or uneasy? Tell us in the comments section below. And if you crave more true stories that reveal the wild, hidden power of the natural world, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next discovery might not just change how you see insects, it might change how you see the world beneath your feet. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.